That's right, spinning YouTube live because we run this bitch. That's right. There it is. Victor Allen's New Sports. Victor Allen's own unique fan-based view of sports. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the man that the ladies have nicknamed Sexual Chocolate. And here he is, girding his loins in an orange jock. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the boy and the black man. He's Victor Sportz.
That's a lot of yelling.
Straps.
That's a lot of yelling, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of yelling.
Whoa.
No, I appreciate that you get all excited.
Man.
You know, there's women that's waiting for you to get that excited when they come on the show.
That's the days gone by.
It's gone.
Used to be.
Not no more, huh?
We could talk about it.
All right, you guys. I'm going to leave it alone because, you know, they say, can you talk about football when football's out of season? Yes, you can. Because why? Fantasy sports keeps everything year around. And one day, no, it's already too late. My fantasies have gone into a different direction. But, you know, I have to talk about this one young man who he's never shameful to give a voice out about his opinion. And it is covering the basketball IQ of Mark Cuban, which is great. But he says, predicts the NFL will implode in 10 years. Expand, dominate, and implode. And before we even get to why, I'll give you the quote in a recent interview where he felt that based just on the greed alone, that's what's going to cause the NFL to implode. But that's thinking probably in the mind of an executive and an investor.
I'm very curious. I'm going to have to go read this.
Okay, I'll give it to you as soon as I can put on my eyeglasses.
Yeah, but he says they're going to implode based on greed.
Yes. And this is his quote. Let me give you this quote. The quote he said is, I think the NFL is 10 years away from an implosion. When pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. And they're getting hoggy. When you try to take it too far, people turn the other way. I'm just telling you, when you got a good thing and you get greedy, it always, 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 always turns against you. The problem is, do we listen to a man who's a successful billionaire as in investing? And when you go read the total piece, he talks in a way that you can tell that the person who's not involved in the decisions they make as it deals with expansion, he makes a little sense. The problem you got is, do you respect him for his basketball IQ? I mean, his football IQ, and that the appetite of youngsters right now is growing in a sport that is just growing fast in its popularity. And number one, does it peak out like boxing did, and then all of a sudden deflates? Do you think he's right, Mario?
Well, I don't know, but I think it's interesting to look at. I mean, I'm certainly curious. Okay, like a lot of people, the fact that you have an opinion to me and that you're this person doesn't mean that you're necessarily an expert in these other areas. So I don't hold your opinion to any kind of high regard.
Right.
But on the other hand, I'm interested in it as another intelligent person with an opinion that has that degree of regard.
Right.
Right. But I don't know that I go, ooh, because you say this, I'm going to believe everything.
Right.
On the other hand, I'm very interested in his opinion because in a sort of funny kind of way, he ends up so often being the quote-unquote outsider. In a strange kind of way. So I like to hear what the outsiders with that new money,
right.
Some of the outs, and actually Jerry Jones really fits in that too.
Right.
These are outsiders with that new. They're not old money, so they don't have that family respect and dominance. And so a lot of times, based on what those social worlds are like, they're attempting to flex on their own. But I think it's certainly interesting. I'm curious about what he predicts for the NBA, to tell you the truth, Vic. But I do think, in other words, this was his fight he had, right, with the NBA owners when he came in, even as an owner.
That's right.
Being outside the box,
yes,
all the time, and
T-shirt wearing,
all of that,
rebel against.
And so the NFL is the same with more history,
right?
You know, so I'm not surprised. But I tell you, I am going to go read this.
Yeah, and when you read the article, you can really tell that he's saying, just look at the history. I mean, there was a number one sport called boxing in the early days. Then you had baseball. And then baseball is taking second fiddle, and it plays 162 games in a year and has its fan base and how much they can pay out in their contracts is enormous because they have so many games, merchandising, the rights to media, sponsorships, and everything. Then you turn around and look at what football has done. And basketball is wearing the best face because you can see the players. But football is going, you can't even see all the faces. But the fantasy sports takes off everybody's helmet. That's the difference to me why the young folks are not going to get enough of this. So he's saying the growth of that, including, because he says the whole appeal relating to the fantasy sports appetite is what is moving this, and it's moving fast, and he thinks it's just going to top out. I'm not sure when he's not sitting in the seat. I'm not sure if he's sitting in the seat of the young up and coming who don't pay attention to those things, those dynamics. I call it the chaos theory. You don't know the chaotic karma around something until it's thriving through those who are going, I want this because of this. We couldn't predict fantasy sports 25 years ago.
No, and the growth and impact of the games even. That's why, to me, when they talk about income generated, I'm sometimes a little dubious because I'm going, what are you counting in that?
Right.
Are you counting in what players make for endorsements? Are you counting in what players make for games?
Right.
There's a bunch of other things now that are revenue streams. So when you look at an industry and you say baseball generates this and football generates this and I'm always a little questioning, what are you adding in? Because there's a bunch of new revenue streams today.
Right.
If you're not including that,
right,
because like NASCAR, are you including the success of the games?
Right.
Because there's a whole bunch of other revenues that are that have fueled the industry. So, and too, Vic, I gotta say, because this is so provocative, everybody. Why this picture? Everybody, look at this, you guys. See, this is good. I have to admit.
What?
Look at this picture.
Wait.
So this is like, okay.
Hey, look, I say this. The room of billionaires may be large, it may be small, but they all have the same principle about investment, about getting a community, a city, to buy into stadium development and what have you. And then I was hearing something this morning, I hope I don't misquote this, when they was talking about, college athletes going to the pros and everything. And it was talking about when they bought the rights to say to a particular conference, one school saying, we're buying the rights to pay you $150 million for the media or the connectivity on showing your game. So we're going to pay your school before anything else gets done with the athletes. Whereas most people are concerned about you're overpaying the athletes. I said, that big giant conglomeration over there just paid just for this one aspect, this one, $150 million. I said, so the appetite to me is not the issue. It's the issue that it reminds me, do you invest a lot more money, more so, and don't get your return? Because it takes years to get your return. 10-year packages for media contracts, things of that nature. So to me, it's the same old business principle. You take what they call the greatest risk, right? Yeah. So he just may go there. I don't know. But I like the story because he keeps his name. He keeps his name out there, man. Keep your name there. All right, let's go to the next one. There's been a recent wave in the NBA of what they call, after the All-Star game, everybody gets better, right? Well, there's an example going around, if you haven't noticed now, that there's only one or two teams that are playing better, and the predictable teams, such as those in the East, are playing not up to speed. And those teams are Indiana and Miami, currently on what they call playing less than expectation.
Oh, that's just...
but believe me, go look at their record in the last 10 games.
I agree, but it's just so much how they want to... Vic, we know that these cats pace themselves.
You see Chris Bosh response?
We know they cats. Yeah, I saw it, and I think that's what you do. And the great ones respond and get better and rise to the occasion, right? Just like some of them disappear in the postseason.
Right.
So, I'm not worried about the Heat
or
Indiana.
I would say, based on defense, Miami is nowhere near what they played before. I think they're at that point where they say, can you sustain that type of level? Teams get older. Okay, not LeBron. He's getting older, but he hasn't peaked yet. The other players are getting older. And you have to think about it, that we forget about that. Those players who have to go and rise to that level. Even Indiana, they're trying to figure out why Paul George all of a sudden is off the map. He is like playing. I say not. He's bad. He can't. No one can figure out what's happening with him. And I say, wait a minute. You got 12 games left. You don't play like this with 12 games left or plus 12 games. So you're saying they're just pacing.
Well, because no matter what, I can't imagine any of them beating the Heat. I'm sorry. I just can't.
Okay.
I can't. And I've been watching the Heat, even with Ray Allen, who's basically had disappeared too, right? Then steps up and goes boom, 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 boom.
Right.
So, in other words, I just like what the Heat is doing, Vic. Even while they're in this little problem area, like Greg Oden, just a bunch of things that I like. Even when they're in this problem zone, and I know how they are, I know it doesn't bother me. And it doesn't bother me even with Indiana. You know what bothers me? Is that the Thunder, okay, with everything going even right now, and they without, I still, as much as that's the team I root for, I can't see them beating.
Now, let me give you the record on this.
That's what bothers me. Even when they're doing bad, I can't see them beating them.
I know, and it's all about healthy. So far, the teams have to be really healthy. The best records in the last 10 games. Number 1, San Antonio. That's what this whole subject is about
and they
here.
Look solid and awesome.
Right. So the question is, who will beat the San Antonio Spurs? They got a 14-game win streak, and then the Sixers have a 25-game win streak.
You know what? Because of Papa
winning to lose.
And I love to quote him because, again, he's the example. He always, to me, comes up with these players out of nowhere.
Right.
That are hustling, bumping, grinding. That's exactly what the Lakers need.
It ain't gonna work. You know why? They said, and Charles Barkley said this a couple of years ago. He says, "You just don't turn on defense in the last 5 to 10 games. No, you don't. So where you're playing at now is how you're playing.
San Antonio has a level of discipline year in and year out that's amazing.
14-game winning streak.
Freaking amazing.
Now let me just give you the other record here. San Antonio's got 14-game winning streak. The Clippers are 9-1. Oklahoma, about 9-1. Oh, a little bit better, or maybe 8-2. They're playing above based on their above average and how they play. Those are only 3 teams. Portland, remember when Portland was number 1? They are down fighting at about 6th position now.
That's why I'm not sweating any of it, even though I must say this. Watch the Clippers, because I think Doc is really assembling strike force.
Yeah,
what a deep team, Big. That's a deep team.
I know.
Is there any deeper teams?
Yes, San Antonio. You have to watch them.
And Tony Parker's playing like he's saying,
they're healthy.
You think you're going to forget about me?
They're healthy.
That's how their attitude. And you know their discipline level. That's why you cannot. The discipline level is always off the fucking charts.
What did you say?
Friggin' charts. The charts. Sorry. It's basketball.
I got caught up. Apologize to Becca.
Becca has a potty mouth sometimes.
Oh, okay.
She said it
news. Get some
Becca
news.
Did say that.
Becca, talk to me.
Becca did.
Talk to me.
I'm just saying, I'm amazed by the Spurs. I give them so much credit and respect because it's so much related to the things that I respect, like discipline and work ethic. They have all of that. And again, the same thing I always say with Vic and the Lakers. How come certain people seem to find these grind them out blue collar players that are pumping it up and filling in these gaps? They seem to find them, and certain people find them.
I think you're right on it. I think let's just say this right now. I'm just saying right now, who can beat the Spurs right now today? Not later.
Right now,
anyone.
Miami on a good day.
No. Right now. Today.
I still, if they had to play, you don't never know what Miami's team's going to show up.
Right, you don't.
You don't know what team's going to show up. So,
but when you see the numbers that's being produced, you're going to say this team has gotten better. They're getting better. So I'm saying right now, no one can beat the Spurs, but there is a condition.
I'm not saying.
I'm saying the condition is matchups. Clippers don't match up well with San Antonio, but they match up better with Oklahoma or Miami. But when they go to San Antonio, they're dealing with a team that deals with movement of the ball and pass it around, move it around, keep it moving because it wears you down.
But you know what the thing that's so trippy with the Clippers that I'm appreciating now, Vic, is how easily, because of how much depth they have, that when Doc shifts some of those combinations, it really becomes something else almost, kind of. He has the ability to do that, kind of, because they're so deep. He can shift in some people, and it's a different kind of a team. All of a sudden, it's a run and gun.
They are
force thing.
Right. They got to still do. I say they're still a year away because they have to get into that position of going to at least the Western Conference Finals to know what it's like to be pressed, and do they rise to the occasion. So this is going to be the test, the litmus test for Doc Rivers, because he says first playoff round last year, you guys out. They have to at least threaten to go to the Western Conference Finals. But now let's talk about the other side. There's a 25-game losing streak. Okay, I want you to understand what this means.
Yeah, that's a real streak.
Okay, they are winning to lose or losing to win. Is it so obvious that the city of brotherly love right now has to sustain a 25-game losing streak?
They've had other teams that lost. They had the Eagles in the old days, lost terrible and pitiful. First of all, no offense, Philly should be used to losing.
Oh, here we go. Wait a minute, we got
y'all
fans.
Had a bunch of losing.
Well, we have
stuff.
fans.
In fact, it's when you have some winning shit that is something to talk about.
Dr. J?
I'm to say, I love Dr. J.
Reggie White back in the Philadelphia
Like I said,
Eagles.
when they have something, it's to
Right.
talk about. You notice how you have to really jump
Go
around.
back.
You have to jump around.
You're trying to say.
I remember even when they did it in hockey
Right.
for a moment.
This is embarrassing. I'm sorry.
So I'm just saying it is embarrassing,
This is
and they're a team that
embarrassing.
prides itself because, like New York and Philadelphia, is a team where basketball is part of their heart and soul.
Right.
It isn't quite the same on the West Coast.
No.
In importance, is it, Vic?
No.
To them, it's like they're part of their heart and soul. All of those cities, the brothers that come from there.
Right.
So you even feel for them. I feel for them. And the
This-
coach is making... I like the way the coach is handling it, but from what he says, you can tell. They know they don't have the tools. Well, they're like the Lakers.
Any coach that reaches 11 games or 10-game losing streak, you're talking about a coach who's getting a pass, or he already knows that he's fired. 25.
Is it his fault or is it the GM?
Of course, there's always the GM and the ownership when they unload, because they, look, some teams make business decisions because they say, look, it ain't going to get any better. Don't throw all this money into them. Let's unload this, start again.
Right.
But when you turn over like that, you're planning a few years in development.
There
right
I go.
now.
So I don't blessedly blame. I don't know who to blame. I haven't watched it close enough to know why it's like this.
Right.
But
Let's say this. The Washington Wizards are not the laughingstock anymore. This is beyond the Clippers.
the Washington
The old
Wizards
Clippers
have more respectability than the Lakers, right?
They're going to be in the playoffs. See, so the whole point is, Lakers,
Okay.
we may complain. If it was 25-game losing streak for the Lakers, what will be happening right now, Martin? 25 now.
A bunch of
25.
people, LA already takes this stuff hard, y'all.
25.
LA loves the
What
Lakers.
would happen?
There's a bunch of people out there, they really are taking this. My neighbor, Terry, if you watch this, Terry, I know how brokenhearted you are about the Lakers.
Yes.
They upset.
Okay.
Mad.
All right. Okay.
Man, she's an attorney. You don't even think she'd get like that.
I'm saying,
calm down, Terry.
could anyone last without something happening in L.A. at a 25
No,
game?
LA,
That's
they
my
have a
point.
revolt.
Yes.
Except those of us who don't care, because in LA, you got those other people go like, to hell with sports. To hell, who gives a shit about Lakers losing? Right, Vic? There's a whole bunch of people right now out there in the streets like, hey, it's great.
Right. That's right.
It's still funny in LA.
I can accept losing. I just think when you're served up like a steak for a group of pit bulls, and you're at 25 games, and there's no remedy, and nobody's saying
That's
anything.
what I said.
I think what they're saying to their fan base is that we don't care about you.
See, to me, you have no heart.
Right.
Because, to me, I didn't play like that. Even in high school, whatever. I played on losing. You play hard. You play because it's about character.
That's what I'm saying.
Gee, you play hard because you expect the game.
Thank you. So, hey, Philly,
Play hard.
Philly, got your back. I mean, I'm Lakerland, but I still got your back because you deserve better. Let's go to the last subject. It's coming down, you guys. There will be discipline for Jim Irsay for his arrests.
What kind of discipline?
But they're already
They're going to get Miko to come out and spank him with a turquoise chain?
Yeah, wait a minute. They're already talking about it. So
Bend over, Jimmy.
Well, so look,
Ew.
I said $25,000, but they do have a case.
$25,000.
Wait a minute. Let me tell you how close.
Joke.
Wait a minute. I know it is.
Wait a minute. Joke. What a joke.
I forgot which owner had an incident, and he got fined $100,000.
Oh.
So I know.
They spend more than that on a good dinner out with the kids.
Yeah, I understand that.
Oh, forget that.
Okay, so here's the question, you guys, since you already know that. The question is, should NFL, NBA, and the Hockey League and baseball just period, CEOs and owners be drug tested.
They should have an anal probe.
See, here we go.
They should have an anal probe that does continually. Look at both these men. Look at their faces.
Wait a minute.
They look like they probably have an anal probe. Except the one on the left likes it. So, I'm telling you.
That's Jim, man.
You can tell in that picture.
Man. You know
which one is more likely to like a probe?
That's Roger Goodell. Stop, man.
Which one is probably more likely to dress up in like a woman in leather?
Let me say
the
this.
one on the right.
Let me say this. I knew you was going to go there. I knew you were going there.
He looks like he could dress up in leather and be spanked.
This is what, you know what? Why you're getting this response from Mario is because he knows
no respect for
that he doesn't think there will be drug testing for CEO or owners anytime in the near future, right?
No, it's because I think we'll never have them as a sponsor.
Look, right now, who you pitching?
They're never going to advertise.
Right. So should you be good?
You, Mario.
Should you be more accommodating to them?
No, because look at the one on the left. He looks more accommodating. Where did he get him?
Okay, that's Jim. Stop saying on the left.
It's your pictures.
It's Jim Irsay.
There, look at Jim.
And that's Roger Goodell, the commissioner.
Which one is screwing who? I think Jim's on top.
Okay, you know what? You are really I did not script this out. I apologize. I'm sorry.
I think $25,000. That's a joke. See, this is what I hate. See stuff, and then they actually say that to your face, like of a straight face. We've instituted a $25,000 fine. Comprehensive. We've done a comprehensive review.
I see.
And determined that a $25,000 fine would be appropriate. Ah, bullshit.
So let me ask you this. For the sake of Becca, because she knows where you stand.
Becca's going like, this is bullshit.
Wait a minute. See, what we want to know is this. You have a platform.
Yes,
the platform needs sponsors.
Okay.
You're sending out a message because your sponsors.
Okay, I'm sorry, Jim.
So who you're siding with?
It was really Roger who was on top.
This is wrong. So wait a minute. So what you're saying is,
or maybe you guys just switched it up.
To attract a philosophy of money and investment, do you endorse severe penalty or a spank on the hand?
I endorse, if it's all about making money, I think you should do just like what you're doing. You piss in everybody's face and tell them it's rain.
See, I'm done. I'm about to get out of my sports. See, I'm getting out of it. See, this is why I'm getting out of my sports. So what he's saying is the corporate culture is not even remotely affected by this right now.
Becca understands
my
analogies.
Wouldn't you make this akin to Lindsay Lohan situation as it relates to a celebrity who says, I get a spank or a slap on the hand?
Oh, yeah. Lindsay, she keeps going. She gets to go to jail for like an hour. What person of any color has ever been to jail for an hour? For an hour.
Okay.
They take hours just to even put you in there, as they know. Make sure you miss dinner.
See, let me remind you guys, this is my new sports, which is the talk around sports, not necessarily the factoids of sports. I'm done with my new sports. I don't think we're going to get any sponsors. Mario, you can take us out of here, man. You just stepped all over it, man. You didn't make a decision. You know, you have to make a decision. My decision is Astroglide. Sometimes it's hard to choose your own personal lubricant. Pond's, Jergens lotion, Astroglide, or Vaseline. Especially when you have to go hit the jail cell. Put it all in there. Let's know so we can send it all in to Roger and Jimmy. They'll send them some Bozo gel. All compliments of Pack Stereo and the new sports. Yay! That's cool.